to complete at the end of this session. This helps us get better and also gives you an opportunity to let us know what other tips that we can provide you with for the remainder of the year. So with that, I will kick it over to Tiffany to get started. Good morning, Tiffany.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. Thank you for, again, attending the Tiff's Tip of the Month. Yes, so we're going to talk about VSPP, T-Drive, and Overdrive. I'm going to go over the difference between the three programs, give you some insight on that, and also information that's available to you where you can locate it, and also some mistakes that are made that can be prevented to help get paid in a more timely manner than what has happened in the past. And then last but not least, I'm going to show you the upcoming way to submit the VSPP T-Drive that's currently being piloted and rolling out for certain TMNA groups, and we'll have that available in the very near future. Once it becomes available, we'll have some more training on that and just go over that in more detail. But for now, what I wanted to do is go over the three programs. So the first program that we have available to us, as you know, is VSPP. So it's a vehicle special purchase program. It's an associate, Toyota associate, or an eligible family member that purchases a vehicle at a discounted rate. So what we have done is we have placed on Dealer Daily. I'm going to share that screen for you in just one moment here. So on Dealer Daily on your side, you would go to Kansas City region, marketing/incentives, and under incentives, we have some new areas. I've created a tab just for VSPP, T-Drive, and Overdrive. What you're going to see here is for VSPP, and like I said, this is an associate purchase that allows for a discounted rate, starting price, and potential for eligibility of an attachment A form. Most of you are probably familiar with this. One of the biggest errors that are made that I see is the fact that the retail sale is reported as a 01 sales code or a 05 sales code. This must be a 02 sales code. It must be reported before any documentation is sent over to the over to the VSPP email address. If you need to confirm that, all you would need to do is go under Dealer Daily, under your vehicles, and then you look under your monthly sales. From that point, you could put in the retail date and confirm that the sale is a 02 sales code. But again, 90% of the time when I see that a VSPP has a significant delay in being paid, when I look up the retail vehicle, I see that it's been reported as a 01, which is a normal potential customer rebate. So
Hey,
it
Tiffany,
must be. Yes.
Sorry, I don't see your screen.
Thank you. All right. Do you see the Toyota Vehicle Special Purchase Program?
No, we still see the landing page.
Okay, no problem.
There we go.
Now you can see it?
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone. So again, you'd go to the Kansas City region, marketing/incentives, under incentives. Right here, the VSPP, T-Drive, and Overdrive. So the VSPP program, like I had indicated, follows the rebate that's available according to attachment A. So back in February, just to pull up this example, if somebody that is a Toyota associate or eligible associate like myself comes to the dealership, I'm going to have a certificate, and with the attachment A, or you can always look up the attachment A that's applicable, and it gives you the rebate discount to structure the deal. Again, first thing is reporting the vehicle sold as a 02 sales code, and then emailing the required documentation to the vehicle service VSPP email address. So again, this is a set amount or a varied amount each month. There is a $750 courtesy delivery fee that gets reimbursed to the dealership, as well a courtesy fee that gets paid to the dealership once all of that is submitted. I'm going to go over to another screen and want to show you. Okay, are you able to see the area, the screen with the VSPP, T-Drive, and Overdrive?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So the difference between VSPP and T-Drive is a program designed for TMNA associates. It does have a set dollar amount that does not change, which is $2,250 towards the purchase or lease of a Toyota or Lexus. This can be used with VSPP as long as the associate is leasing or financing with Toyota Financial Services with a standard rate. So they can combine. So if, for example, if the Avalon Gas Model Year 20, we were offering $1,725, they would have that in conjunction with the $2,250 for the T-Drive. And as well as the courtesy delivery fee that gets paid to the dealership, all of that can be recouped. There is a difference with the T-Drive policies. Again, T-Drive is only for those eligible through the Toyota facilities that I have listed here, or eligible family members. They can only use their certificate once every 3 years, where VSPP can be used twice a year. So again, T-Drive for TMNA associates. The biggest element that does not happen and goes wrong with T-Drive when submission is taking place is when the funding portion of it is getting sent over to TFS. It's stated that there needs to be an indicator in there that states team member or team member family in the entry screen. This is the indicator that it is that type of TMA transaction, which then initiates TFS to mark the contract accordingly in their system. That's what actually stimulates the payment processing for T-Drive. What often happens is that step's missed, and then we're having to go back. I'm working with you, dealer individuals, to try to go back and communicate that information to TFS. And usually by that time, it's been 60 or 90 days that we're beginning that process. So to prevent a further delay with the T-Drive, making sure that TFS in the contract information Route 1 entry, that is an indicator so they can start the process with the required documents that they ask for to be included in that as well. Overdrive is simply part of our retirement program that we offer for those associates that are retiring. It's $3,500 that goes towards down payment, retail purchase for Toyota or Lexus vehicles, or if they currently are in a lease vehicle, it can go towards the purchase of that. That has its own certificate as well. The process is the same. But those are primarily what you're going to be seeing is the VSPP and the T drive when it comes to these type of transactions. Majority of the time when it comes to the retiree programs, overdrive program, that's all handled internally prior to the individual retiring. So you most likely won't see too many of those. So for the new upcoming process that we will provide more information, more training on, right now you actually can see that information. If you go into Dealer Daily and you look under vehicles, you can actually see under the TMNA Courtesy Dealer Portal. This is what it looks like. It's not unlocked yet, but right here, this VTO dashboard, VSPP, T-Drive, or Overdrive, this is where you will...
Wait,
Tiffany?
Tiffany,
yes.
Kelsey was about to tell you, yeah, we're still seeing the mobility.
Well, I am sorry about that. These transitions aren't working very.
There we go.
Okay, sorry about that. So under Dealer Daily, you would go under Vehicles, TMNA Courtesy Dealer Portal. It will then pull up this screen, and the VTO dashboard here is where you would go to start the process. The difference between the current process and this up and coming is that the associate will go in and actually register for a certificate, and they will get a reference number, and they can either download that certificate electronically, or they can just come to the dealership with this particular number. And when you go into the dashboard, you'll be able to search it out. But just to show you what that looks like, if you, again, go under here, VSPP, the new process for submission, I have that available so you can take a look at that. Sorry about that. Let's see. So right here is where we're at. You would select the VTO dashboard. Right here, this particular PIN number, it's an associate assigned PIN number when I, as a Toyota associate, want to purchase or lease a vehicle. Then I would register. This would be the number I would get. You would input that information and hit search. Key in the information again, whoever's buying it, because it may not be the associate directly, it may be an eligible family member. And go through this step process. Select what type of transaction that associate's wanting to do. If it's pay the dealer, doing the courtesy, attachment A, those type of things. Save and proceed. And put the VIN. It even gives you the structure for the pricing. And then comes to the end where you can select the box to send over all required documents. So again, it's going to be so much easier in the very near future. I'm just waiting to hear back on a more concrete release date for everyone. As I said, they're rolling this out right now at different TMA plants for them to be able to go in, register themselves to get that associate purchase number or program number, so they can come to the dealership with that and you can use that. Unfortunately, don't have the date yet, but this is up and coming. But in the meantime, again, for VSPP, we have these resources available out there to help you out. But again, the biggest key to VSPP is making sure to report the vehicle sold as a 02 before you send any documentation. Because if you send the documentation in and it's a 01 or a traditional customer-based retail code, that information is going to be discarded as if it was an error on submission. So again, making sure that it's reported as a 02, then submit the documentation. And again, for T-Drive, making sure that when the financial contracts, whether it's leasing or financing, that in that source notes, it's listed as TMA or Team Family, so they know that this is a T-Drive program. So with that, that is some tips for VSPP, T-Drive, Overdrive, and our up-and-coming new system. Are there any questions?
Tiffany, it's Eddie.
Hi, Eddie.
Hey, just to clarify on the VSPP, I know it says, I think on the form itself, that they can't combine it with any TMS incentives, like customer cash or special financing. So I get questions on that a lot. So specifically, for instance, we have 0% on Corolla this month. They can't get the 0%, right? They have to do a standard rate if they go with TFS. Use
Yes.
VSPP.
Yes, Eddie. Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. That is exactly correct. The
Okay.
reason for that is because the associate is already starting with a dealer cost pricing. We're already getting a reduced pricing, which obviously a normal consumer is not eligible for. So that is why we're not eligible for subvented rates or any other type of cash that a consumer would be eligible for. We do have the benefit of the attachment A if something is being offered. It's not always offered each month, but that's just the chance we take as associates, is waiting to see, if that's going to be funds available. But bottom line, when a VSPP contract is being written, it must be booked at standard APR rate or standard money factor in order to be a true VSPP transaction. So if an associate tries to tell you differently, please reach out to me. Please reach out to your district manager, and I'll provide that clarification. If I need to provide it to the associate as well, I'll be happy to do that.
And Tiffany, just to clarify, the associate has to come in with the certificate, right? The dealer, for clarification, the dealer can't pull this certificate for the associate.
That is correct. Right now, the current process is the associate has to come in with a hard copy certificate. And in the near future, what they will come in with is either an electronic certificate or, like I had showed, that information, they will have a PIN number. And if they come in with that PIN number, once the new system is up and running, you would input that PIN number here and hit search, and it would pull up the employee name and that it's a VSPP type of transaction. But current process is they have to provide a hard copy certificate with them at the time of the transaction. If they do not have that, refer them back to the region. Again, you can refer them to myself. You can refer them to distribution at the regional office, and we'll be able to guide them in the direction, again, to lift that off of you guys from having to try to explain how the process works. Refer them back to one of us, and we'll be able to assist and make sure they have a clear understanding, so they understand that you're doing everything you can to help them. So again, with VSPP, we are able to do 2 transactions a year. And for T-Drive, it's limited to 1 certificate every 3 years. And again, they can be combined. The T-Drive and VSPP can be combined, but must be booked at standard rate when there is a combination of those 2. Standard rate or standard money factor. And all of these transactions must be leased or financed through TFS.
Tiffany, another question. How would the dealer confirm that the associate hasn't exceeded the number of certificates that they can use? Would they contact us to clarify and confirm that?
The certificate actually will not be generated if they have exceeded the number that's allowed. So the certificate will either have an expiration date. If it's a T drive, it'll have an expiration date. And if they come in after that expiration date, they're allowed to extend it, but they will have to come in with a new certificate with that. And then again, certificates cannot be generated without eligibility being met. If you do have any questions, though, at any point, again, feel free to call our distribution department on the policy. Feel free to call myself, and I will help you through the process and make sure that you're comfortable with that.
Tiffany, it's Eddie again.
Yes.
So an associate or a relative has to finance or lease through TFS to use this program, correct? They can't go outside and use their own bank?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, I looked up the policies on these different ones, and that is what it communicated as well. All right. Anything else? Well, we definitely appreciate your time, and again, please fill out the Survey Monkey so we can get some feedback, so we could better prepare for this type of tips and give you the information that you need most. And again, we're always here to help. Aria, anything else you'd like to say?
That's it. Thank you, Tiffany, for sharing this information. And again, we will post this once we've finished recording it on our region page under marketing and incentives if you need to refer to it later. But that's it. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for joining us.